Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Draw with T. Today it is not anatomy, it is going to be quick doodles kind of my helmet, my medieval Armet helmet, and also kind of not. I was just sort of drawing something vaguely like my helmet and kind of transforming my helmet into a character. This is just an example of kind of what I call one of my downtime pages. It's one of those pages where if I haven't drawn for a while, or I'm just not feeling like drawing something specifically, I'll just kind of sit down. If I have to make art, I'll just sort of quickly doodle something out, or I'll just sort of mindlessly scribble at something. And here I'm not really thinking about good form or anything, I'm just kind of making lines and trying not to think too much about it, although I, still stress over it a bit too much and, draw very small, very controlled, chicken scratching type thing, or the art just looks terrible because I'm not paying attention to learning proportions or getting better at it. That's kind of what this page is, unfortunately. Reason being is now that it is summer here-ish, I know it's still technically spring, but, basically here where I am in Canada, at least my end of Canada, we basically have winter, disgusting mud, then we have summer, spring, and then a few weeks later we're back. We then have smoke, and then construction happens at all points except winter. So it's basically nice or gross or cold here. Not a very good set of seasons. So when it's nice out, I like to be outside enjoying it because literally it might be the only nice day you see for a week. So it's important to enjoy them, and being inside, spending a couple hours drawing is no longer something I want to do, especially under fake lights and a camera and having to push out good work, while I'm secretly thinking, my goodness, I wish I could just put my sketchbook in my bag, grab some pencils, and, scooter off or bike off somewhere, sit on a bench and scribble something, or just go out back, have a nice drink, and just kind of sketch, whatever, at whatever pace too, and I can't really do that. I've got to be mindful of the time that it takes and, make really good art for YouTube. And when you force stuff, it doesn't always turn out that well, and I think this is a case of that, although it was good for me to put lines down, I will say that, because I hadn't drawn for a while, and while this drawing and the other pages that I did in the next episode didn't really fix my confidence issue with my art, it's some additions to my sketchbook, and it keeps me, keeps my hand moving, keeps my hand remembering how to draw, and that's important because if you don't draw for a while, you get very stiff, and it's just kind of painful to work through it. So if I can avoid that, I will, but yeah, we're very near the end of this series. I've said that at episode 100 I'm going to stop doing this twice a week, and I'm very much looking forward to that, although I am also looking forward to ending it at 100. I'm not going to end it early. At least then I can point to something and say, I did 100 of that. Not I did nearly 100, but I did a solid 100. I do imagine that in the future I will actually add to the series. It just won't be twice a week every week, or once a week every week. It'll be when I feel like it, and I'm hoping that what that means is the episodes I produce aren't just these scrawled pages, but are actually good quality pieces of art, and that whatever I have to say is actually meaningful. Because right now I'm just recording everything that I draw and then showing it to you guys, and here's the thing about an artist that you may have not realized, just going by what YouTube artists do, is we repeat ourselves always. If we want to get good at something, we'll literally draw, and I'm not joking, thousands of pages like this of it. That's how we study it. So in terms of entertainment, most people are only okay seeing something done a few times and then they're ready to move on. The reason that artists are so spectacular is because very few people can put up with literally drawing 10,000. That would be absolute master, but would you draw 1,000 pages of these? Maybe not, because I don't think this is of your interest, or art is probably not of your interest if my analytics are anything to go by, but that's what it takes, but it doesn't mean that it's entertaining. And while in the early phases of me doing this series, it was good for me just to record everything and just learn all of the most basic things. I'm now at a point where I'm not learning anything because I don't have time to expand and learn. I don't have time to test lighting. I don't have time to research cameras. I don't have time to play with shooting at different angles because I can't afford the failures. I can't afford the extended time. The deadlines are too tight. I am kind of at a point where finding the time to draw for YouTube and content that would at least be mildly entertaining, but it never really is compared to proper YouTubers. That alone is hard, let alone trying to improve the video quality or make this series something that any decent group of people would want to see, let's say. Beyond, I think maybe at max 20 people would enjoy this mildly. This isn't the sort of series that has hardcore screaming fans. If there are hardcore screaming fans, they're more just my fans of me than the actual series itself, if that kind of makes sense. And I know this all sounds very negative. Perhaps in some way it is, but, this series was good. It got me introduced to video, which led to some cool things and some cool things that I learned and relearned. And I learned a lot about maintaining a video schedule at various points in this, changing it up and everything. It's been a very good learning experience. It's hung around a little too long, and I'm no longer learning anything from it. And I'd like to go forward and learn some stuff. So in that way, it's very positive. It's just, I want to make sure when I put this to bed, I can kind of put it to bed, and I can, satisfy my ego by saying, I did 100 of something, and I did 100 of something in less than a year. Is it good? No. Could I have learned more? Absolutely. But I did learn something. And this did lead to me being on TikTok, where I've been rather successful. Not as successful as some people. There's some people that seem to just exist as an artist, and they're so fabulous and awesome that millions flock to them. I'm not that, but all my social media, I maybe am lucky to scrounge up 400 followers in 4 to 7 years, and on TikTok I've just hit 29,000 followers, and that was me starting as an artist and then kind of moving on to doing these sort of skits as dressed up as original characters, which is fun and also another kind of art that I'm having fun exploring. So, thanks to YouTube and me dipping my foot into video, I've been able to find some success elsewhere and experiment with some other stuff. So it's been good, but it's kind of time for this series to end, I believe, and for me to move on and experiment and, do things without the level of commitment to a group of people and myself, and then just see what the next phase is. It's kind of that time to be the mortar rather than the brick, I suppose, if that makes any sense to anybody. If you have stuck with me this long, thank you very much. I do legitimately appreciate it. I'm also a little embarrassed because I know when I started this I was very, proud and happy, look, I made a video, and now I'm kind of like, oh my gosh, look at the video quality I produce, or the lack thereof. But I do legitimately thank you for being around for this, and I hope it wasn't too terribly awful for you to watch this stuff, if you did. I know there's a huge number of people that kind of supported me and never watched a darn episode of this, and I can't even blame any of you guys. Almost all my art friends were like, I'll binge watch your things eventually, and I'm secretly now thinking, honey, if you ever do, it's going to be 10 years from now, and it's going to be you and me on a couch, and we're going to be admiring how I did this thing 10 years ago when I was a wee young artist, and we're going to have a good laugh about it. A good-natured laugh, mind you, but that's going to be the only time I think this'll really be viewed by people. And you know what? I'm kind of okay with that, because I know this isn't good. That's kind of why I want to put it away. I know when I'm fine with it not being good, because I know... Here's the thing, it not being good means that I kind of have some sense in me somewhere that I can do better. I just don't quite know how to do that. But I know I can do better. And if I know I can do better, then that means there's hope at improving. And possibly fun times learning to improve. and getting comfortable with unknowns and, you know, fumbling and failing and actually coming out of that with some more knowledge. And I'm wanting to do that rather than stay doing something that no longer makes me happy, but that is a safe choice, even though honestly it's doesn't really result in anything good because the view rates are bad, you know, compared to other things that I'm doing. But that's the way I'm trying to look at it. This hasn't been wasted time. It's just been a very, very good introductory step, and I really sucked the bones out of it by going to 100 rather than piecing out at, you know, maybe 75. I think around episode 79-ish or whatever, I'd kind of just done everything that I wanted to do, and since then I don't know how much cool stuff I've done. But yeah, no, I kind of did a bunch of things, had fun, maybe overstayed my welcome, but hey, at least I have the bragging rights. Say what you want, but, you know, quantity is a quality, and I did pump out 100 episodes, or I will pump out 100 episodes of a art YouTube series in less than a year, and it may not be very good, but it's something that I did, and there's a lot of people, better artists than me, faster artists than me, that haven't done that but want to, so at least I have that, I can say, and maybe in the future at some point it'll count for something. What it'll most likely count for is that I learned something and built up on the base that this is, and maybe that will lead to something, some kind of career or some point where I need this, you know, this video knowledge. And yeah. Sorry if you guys wanted me to actually talk about what I was drawing. I didn't really feel like there was a need. You know, that's kind of one of the problems with this series, though, to begin with, is what I talk about and what is shown are two separate things, and I don't think either is of particular interest to anybody, but that's something I'll be fixing. Anyways, like, comment if you like this, if you want to stay for the crazy chaos that will come, subscribe, I guess, but, you know, it'll be a long break once I'm done this series. Hope you guys enjoyed this. No offense if you didn't, and maybe I'll see you in the next one. Either way, hope you guys have a good day.